Here on YouTube, I thought I had seen it all. I've seen social justice warriors advocate for pedophilia. I've seen them advocate for incest. I've even seen them advocate for bestiality. Everyone remembers that chick from 2 years ago who Leafy roasted.
Also, to the people who have negative thoughts about me and what I do doesn't hurt you. It doesn't affect you. I fuck dogs.
I only speculated that things would get worse, and boy was I right. Because when browsing through that weird section of this channel, I found that this chick supports necrophilia. I feel like this is more than just about social justice, but the fact that the world's population is getting dumber, especially how a substantial amount of people agree with her. Like, what the fuck is wrong with our species? It's like that movie Idiocracy about the world getting dumber is slowly becoming a documentary.
And we're stuck with the dumbest people in history.
If you have one bucket that holds 2 gallons and another bucket that holds 5 gallons, how many buckets do you have?
2? Smartest guy in the world? Says who?
The IQ test you took in prison. You got the highest score in history.
Even smarter than President Camacho.
Ladies and gentlemen, the president of America!
In the year 2505,
We got this guy. He's gonna fix everything. So you smart.
the ordinary will be considered extraordinary.
I thought your hair would be bigger.
Idiocracy.
For the smartest guy in the world, you're pretty dumb sometimes.
Maybe I'm a bigot. Let's actually hear them out and listen to why screwing dead people is awesome.
Hi, this is Dizzy, and I am about to talk about 2 of the things that make people the most uncomfortable, and that would be sex and death, and in this case, a combination. What I'm about to propose is purely speculative and not a promotion of this behavior.
Now, I'm not accusing anyone of anything, but these people always deny involvement in these acts.
Someone mentioned in the comments that they don't think that incest is that bad, and that's something that I've always thought, and so I feel the need to say that I've never been attracted to anyone in my family. I have no agenda with this video other than to just have a discussion with you guys.
But I guess that would be good.
What I want to talk about is legalized necrophilia. In many states, necrophilia is not actually a crime, it's just, desecration of corpse. In my home state of Louisiana, sodomy is illegal, but necrophilia isn't.
Now, I agree that illegal sodomy is stupid, but necrophilia is not illegal because it's socially frowned upon, which is an even better deterrent. Let me give you a good example. Is it necessary for me to tell you to not eat dog shit? No. Why?
That's common sense.
But states where necrophilia is illegal, well, it's kind of like the warning signs at the beginning of the show Jackass, because there are actually people crazy enough to do this, and this, and this, but these are all unfortunate acts.
So, you can donate your body to science. In some cases, they throw your body into contained woods, and other terrain, to see how a dumped body would compose in its natural location. So, real beautiful. It's actually very interesting and very helpful, but, it is somewhat disturbing, I suppose.
Yeah, but no one is being put at risk, and the people overseeing the process are scientists. People trained to handle that stuff.
In some cases, with organ donors, they remove eyes, hearts, livers, what have you, and save a living person from dying. You can have your dead body made into a diamond. You can have your dead body made to grow into a tree. That's the green thing to do right now.
Again, not harming anyone.
What you cannot do is donate your body for sex. People who crave sex with the deceased are known as necrophiliacs or necrophiles. Have interchangeably used those terms. I'm not talking about fantasies or vampire-esque desires. I'm talking about active, tactile necrophiles, who even enter certain careers in order to be near bodies. these are higher classes of necrophiles, and there are indeed different types of necrophiles, but I'm not going to get into that here because it's big, it's messy, and it's a lot of numbers. So, I will discuss the ones which really have a fixation on acting out on their desires. So, yet again speculative. What if you could donate your body to necrophilia and therefore decriminalize it? Or, put it like on the market of things either for, payment towards funerals or, mental health treatment for people with necrophilia. And right now I'm ignoring the fact that it's legal in many states, while sodomy is not. Whether you could donate to a specific person or just to post-death sexual use of your body in general would bring about a bit of a societal change, I think. I believe more people would take part on both sides than you would think.
Are you sure about that?
Both signing up to be one of the bodies used and both, on the other end, people who are curious and people who know for a fact that they are necrophiles. It would be contained, regulated, and generally speaking, it would be harmless.
She's talking about this like it's prostitution. What, are you gonna set up brothels for corpses where people can go to town? Oh no. I feel like I need a shower after watching this, and I'm only halfway through the video. But in general, she asks this question at the end.
Leave your thoughts below. Please try to stick to, non-religious morality and why it would or would not be ethical to do such a thing.
So I'm going to get on with it. Dead people are still people, and for a person to enjoy the things they consent to, they need to be aware of it. A dead person has left all that, and engaging in these acts with them would not only invade that, but also violate their memory and devalue them. They've passed on. Let them rest in peace.
Gordo, stop. Leave him rest. Gordo, he's dead. He's dead. Show some respect. Leave him alone.
Also, because human corpses decompose, they attract a lot of bacteria, and intimate contact with them would expose the person to numerous diseases, which would also introduce new STDs into society. Is that what you want?
A famous necrophile, Jeffrey Dahmer, who is also a serial killer, most necrophiles aren't, only seemed to kill due to the side effect of making zombie sexual partners, because he was a necrophile. I've read a lot about him. I read his father's book. Jeffrey's fantasies were necrophiliac. Let's not ignore the fact that part of the ritual for some necrophiles involves violently killing the victim. And this is a small amount of necrophiles. The vast majority of necrophiles are not actually violent people. A lot goes into their psychology, but for this video, I would rather address the moral issues of two consenting adults, one of which is dead. You consent before you're dead, in case that confuses you. Engaging in sexual acts. You're probably cringing right now. That's okay. But think about this. Someone donates their body to sex, and the necrophile does their business in a controlled environment and leaves. The families would not approve and probably be left out of the awareness of this decision.
So families don't have the right to know what's happening to the person they lost. That's a little insulting considering they lost someone who they loved and are now being excluded from their post-death handling.
I personally would be irked. But what is inherently wrong with this concept outside of it being gross? And why is it gross?
Well, I'll let this video do the talking.
You're definitely no longer with us, your muscles relax, and this means your sphincter will too, meaning that triple whopper and large fries you had for lunch will spill out of you. The gas you have in you may also leak out and cause a stink. The same goes for the pee you've got in your bladder, so dying, not surprisingly, is a bit of a messy affair. And men, you might even ejaculate. As for women, you may give birth after you have died if you were pregnant, which is something called coffin birth. It doesn't happen often though. Instead of pushing, it's the gases in the abdomen that squeeze the newborn into the world. As the body gets rid of what is trapped inside, noises may be emitted from your mouth as air escapes. Nurses and people working close to dead bodies have regularly reported hearing very alive-sounding moans and groans coming from dead bodies. You may twitch, but this doesn't mean there is life in you, these are just muscle contractions. You could also soon get an erection if you died lying on your stomach and the blood flowed down there. All your blood will pool to a certain area of your body. This is called livor mortis, and it's the reason parts of you will have that dark purple color you have seen on TV. These are the lovely things that can happen quite shortly after you go. With no blood flowing through your body, it will begin to cool down, known as algor mortis, or simply death chill. It will keep cooling until it is the same temperature as your surroundings, you will become stiff within about 2 to 6 hours, and this we call rigor mortis. This is because calcium is getting into your muscle cells, cells break down without blood flow, and this leads to bacteria growth, and that's why you start to decompose. You may look like your hair or your nails have grown, but that isn't the case. What is happening is that your skin is receding, giving the impression of growth. The skin will loosen too, and blisters will appear on the body. The next stage is putrefaction, when bacteria and microorganisms start feasting on you. You'll soon start to stink as bad as anything you could have imagined while you were alive. One person described the smell as rotten eggs, feces, and a used toilet left out for a month times 1,000. It is unholy. Soon everything that is soft becomes liquefied, with things like bones, cartilage, and hair remaining strong. You're already well on your way to decomposing by the time you are being put in the ground, but if embalmed and buried, decomposition could be a slow process. Left above ground, you'll be a liquefied mess within about a month, feasted on by insects, maggots, plants, and animals.
I don't know about you, but I don't exactly want to get intimate with something like that.
I went to an exhibit of bodies, a body museum of dead soldiers when I was 20 in New York, when I was living in New York. And these dead soldiers, to my knowledge, did not consent to being used as pieces in a gallery. That cannot be more ethical than consensual necrophilia.
Wow, that is a really weird comparison. May I remind you that no one is desecrating these corpses, nor are they in contact with any living humans. They are in glass coffins, which is their final grave, and more importantly, they can rest in peace, while also allowing us to learn from them. I'm sure in their afterlife they at least don't care about their bodies being put in museums. Necrophilia is most definitely not more ethical than that.
And to finish up, I don't think it would really cut down on hedonistic serial killings, but it would be an interesting study.
This is one thing that I really don't understand. Of the 7.5 billion people in the world, you cannot find a single living person to get freaky with. You had to do it with a dead person. That's a little pathetic. But seriously, the role of any government is to ensure the best life possible for its citizens. And allowing psychological disorders to become involved in everyday life is not acceptable. In my videos calling out YouTubers who supported pedophilia and incest, I actually got a good amount of people attacking me for that. If that's the case for this video, let me tell you one thing. Pedophilia, incest, bestiality, and necrophilia are not normal acts, nor are they kinky. I myself am a kinky person, and I apply it on my girlfriend. But there are lines, and when you add in acts that are harmful to the human psyche, you are stepping out of the bounds of healthy sex lives.